What's going on, Infected? It's Wolf with the Quarantine, and I'm actually recording this the day after me building the insert I'm going to be talking about here. So this video is going to kind of be me reviewing more the time capsule for Anachrony. Now, the reason why I'm not going to be going through building it is because I built it last night, and I apparently forgot to hit record on the camera. So, yay me. So instead of that, I'm just going to kind of go over the time capsule and kind of talk about it. So let's just get on with it. Alright, and this is the finished product of Anachrony. Now, there's a couple things. I'm actually recording this the day after because I did have to glue a couple pieces and I wanted to make sure everything was fully dry before I put cards and pieces and stuff into it. Also, I purchased this used after the fact, so I do have a few damaged pieces, which I'm not going to get into that, but the person that I purchased it from, apparently when he was putting pieces into his hand, he was squeezing. It almost felt like it's ridiculous, but whatever. Let's just dive right into it. Now, Anachrony is a time travel game, if you're not familiar with what it is, and has a really cool system that actually makes you feel like you're traveling through time. You can send crap into the past with you, which is neat. I also have, if I'm not mistaken, I have all of the add-ons and all the expansions and everything for it. I've actually only gotten to bring this to the table once. Really fun game. Spoilers. So there's that. This is the last score. Oh, there we go. Score sheet that I had. But see, everything fits in here just fine. I've had this all night. Like I said, drying, and then this morning I put everything back together and I stored it on the on my shelf sideways as well. So as you see here, everything's still in place. There, even these, which I actually had thought that these were gonna fall out, but they did not. So you got all the, I don't remember what those are called. You have all your other boards here and your main board. They sit right here, fancy like. I put the rule book under this just to keep these in place as well. So as you see, you got all of your different armies. You have this here, which is neat, and you have a compartment right here in the middle that holds any extra pieces that you may have. That way it stays nice and tidy. Then you have, this is a spare box of the resources, just the extra resources that you get that don't really fit very well, which I'll get to that. Now, this was fairly complicated, the build for it, but I didn't have any real problems. Now, this is one of the things I like. All of these card holders do this. The legs flop down like this. Now, that's one thing I'm going to mention here. Some of them are super loose, like this one. Very, very loose. And I think there's another one that's very, very loose. But you flop them down and boom, they sit just like that for the game. That way, when you're drawing a card, I don't have these sleeved. These, when I bought them from the guy, he didn't sleeve these, and I don't have these sleeve sizes just yet. So, but that way you can just draw out of these and it doesn't take up that much real estate, which if you're familiar with this game, takes up a lot of real estate. So, yeah, just for 2 games, you're looking at most of the table. And then you have these smaller cards, which I do have sleeved. They fit just fine. And again, they do the same cool little bam. And then you can just draw from this when you need to, which is super useful. I really, really like that. It's a really neat design. And then we got the 2 boards here. Now, as you see here, I have to push down to be able to get to them because of how they fit. But I mean, I could easily just pull one of these out and go that way. I guess I'll address that. So one thing I thought was kind of an odd choice, which I mean, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but there's nothing really holding these mechs in place. So after seeing the, I have the Blood Rage insert, and all of those click in here just fine, and I thought that was really cool, but there's nothing really holding these in. So as you see here, they just slide right out. So that's a little disappointing, kind of a bummer, but I mean it still does the job, so I'm not really complaining too much about that. It's just something that I wanted to point out. So yeah, that's all of these. You have all of the factions that sit in them just fine. And as you see, I think I might have put these on backwards. I think the symbol that you see there is supposed to go on the back, but I put them on the inside, but whatever. So you have, like I said, these boards here, and you have the 4 player boards, or the player trays, I guess is a better way to call them. And they all look exactly like this. The tray, or the cardboard thing here, your headquarters or base or whatever it's called, just clicks in it. And then you have each player's got their 2 leaders and their reference card. And then you have all of your little tokens here, which is pretty nifty. Now, where I bought this secondhand, you're supposed to also have the cardboard hexes that go here. I don't remember what I did with mine. I know I got them, but I think I might have put them in a box and put them in this shed to never to be seen again. So that's how all of them look. Fits all your stuff. So, you know, when we're playing, I just hand you this. This is all your stuff, and you just get your mechs, which is pretty neat. And the reason why I put them in the shed is because if you have your mechs, there's no reason to ever need the hexes. So, or the mech hexes. And then you got these here, your little hexes that stop you from being able to go places, and destroyed markers, stuff like that. Pretty neat. This thing was really cool. It actually started with this. This is what you build first, if you saw in the first part. And it's actually one of the more complicated ones, so it's kind of gets the hard stuff out of the way. And then you have this here. It's got the AI, or whatever the I think it's the 1-player variant, if I'm not mistaken. But then you have all your dice here, which is nice. And we got this here as well. Goes this way. So it's got 2 of these boxes that crack open like this. And now you can take half of this. Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong part. You take this and put it on one side of the table. Take this and put it on the other side of the table. So that way people aren't having to reach all the way across. I thought that was neat. I'll put that back. Well, I'll show you how easy it is to put back. The only thing I don't like about this is there's little grooves underneath it, so you have to like make sure they line up, and then it closes no problem. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just something you got to pay attention to. You get the same thing with the resource cubes too. This pops off. You have resource cubes, and underneath it you have more resource cubes. I didn't glue a lot of this, so that's why I'm being a little more careful with it. So yeah, more resource cubes. And this one also is kind of a pain to put back because there's 2 grooves on the back side over here that you have to line up and make sure it clicks in properly. Again, not a super big deal, but it's something you have to pay attention to, or else it's not going to close properly. Then you have the different buildings. If I can get it out, there we go. Different buildings here. And all it is you'll build. You see the little symbol, what they are. You pull out what you're building, whole 9 yards. If I'm not mistaken, the next one in line is always available. So I'm assuming you'll just do like this and put them on top. But I'm not really sure how that would be used, but it's still really neat. Then we got the victory point markers and energy markers. Sit right in here. Yeah, nothing functional, nothing good or bad about that. Now this is the part that I thought was really cool. So you have all your time track pieces right here, and some of them you use, some of them you don't, depending on how you want the game to be. And then you have these that I think these are like the special projects and whatnot. These are nifty, but the thing I thought was really cool is under here you have all of these tokens that I don't remember what they're used for. But I thought that was really, really neat. The problem that I have with that, though, while it's really cool, it doesn't lock in there very well. So if I flip this over and I'm not holding this, it's just going to spill all over the place, and I thought that was kind of a bummer as well. But that is the Anachrony insert from Meeple Realty. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.